Fast-moving developments in the Mideast. Iran fired missiles at Israel right after the ceasefire was agreed. Israel launched a counterattack. The ceasefire appeared to have been violated. The president, not happy. At 7:28 this morning, he went on Truth Social saying, in part, Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran, end quote. The market stayed in rally mode. Investors seem confident that the ceasefire will hold and a degree of peace will come to the Gulf region. Look at the green. The Dow up 278, that is about 2/3 of 1%. The Nasdaq is up almost 1%, a gain of 214 points. That is pre-market. Big gains yesterday, repeated this morning. Now here's a key number. It's the price of oil. The sell-off continues. You're down to $66 a barrel, down from $77 just 48 hours ago. That downside move in oil should cool inflation. Gold, down again. That is a barometer of anxiety. It's holding just above $3,300 an ounce, down $60 today. Bitcoin, not that much change, looking at 105.2. That's your price at the moment. Interest rates, the 10-year Treasury yield down to 4.35%, and the 2-year, the yield there is 3.85. Let's sum up the financial markets on this Tuesday morning. Oil down, gold down, stocks up. On the show today, the president is now on his way to the NATO summit in Europe. He's demanding a big increase in defense spending. Sometimes it seems like our president is running the world. In New York, a mayoral election primary with national implications. One candidate is surging at the last minute, Zoran Mambani. He's a socialist. His candidacy is a test of support for the far left. He's also a Muslim who's made inflammatory anti-Israel statements. His candidacy is a test of anti-Israel sentiment. His election brings anti-Semitism, if he were elected, brings it back into the New York headlines. Tuesday, June the 24th, 2025, Varney and Company is about to begin. Last night, President Trump helped broker a ceasefire agreement between Iran and Israel. Earlier this morning, Israel claimed that Iran broke that deal and was prepared to respond. President Trump not happy with either country. Watch.
But I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it. As soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either.
Okay, then he posted this after boarding Air Force One. I'm quoting now. Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Israel has now confirmed it will stand down on strikes against Iran after a conversation with President Trump. Jason Chaffetz joins me now. Has Trump regained control of the situation, Jason?
No, he's regained control, really, of the world. My goodness, President Trump doing what a leader does. I mean, look, he's made the most significant difference in the Middle East in decades, and it's going to pay off for all of us. So, yeah, you've got to enforce that ceasefire. Only the United States can, and only President Trump made that happen.
Now, President Trump, he's going after the media for downplaying the damage done by our strikes on Iran's nuclear sites. Watch this.
It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean me.
Jason, my personal opinion is I think the media is obscuring what happened here. The ceasefire is a breakthrough that changes the whole Mideast equation. When will Trump get the credit he deserves?
Oh, I don't think the national media is on the payroll of basically the far left in this country. I just don't think they're ever going to do it. I mean, they had always pegged him as somebody that was going to start World War III, and yet we wake up this morning and the world is more calm than ever, and the nuclear threat from Iran has been diminished, if not totally obliterated. So that's what the President of the United States campaigned on. That's what he's doing. The national media, shame on them. And they have no other sources, right? The only source they have is what the military is doing and showing, and the precision in which they executed this mission overseas, unparalleled.
Are you confident that the ceasefire is back on track as the president says it is?
I think as best it can. You know, you worry about some rogue lone wolf, a person out there, some sleeper cell that does something. I think we always have to be on our guard, but that's what our United States military has done for a long time and will continue to do. I mean, you're serving in the Middle East, you're out on one of those carrier groups, you got to be ready to go at a moment's notice. But I think the United States of America showed and demonstrated to the world that we are the United States of America. We are the superpower to be reckoned with.
Jason, thanks for being with us this morning. See you again real soon. Now this,
Thanks,
Speaker Johnson says he talked to Trump this morning. What did he say, Lauren?
Trump is frustrated by these fragile ceasefire agreement, but he remains optimistic. Watch.
He's frustrated. Everybody just saw that demonstrated. We all are, right? The ceasefire is fragile. It's very important. The president wants cooler heads to prevail, and we do as well. And he's going to have conversations, ongoing conversations with Prime Minister Netanyahu this morning. He's already spoken to him. We need to calm the situation down. I'm optimistic that'll happen. I think the president is as well. We're on the verge of real peace in the Middle East.
Yeah. Peace in the Middle East. That's been a generational goal by so many presidents. Trump is the grand master of all this. He's trying to orchestrate the peace.
Yep, we're trying to get it back on track, take control
Telling
again.
nations what they need to do.
It's a fluid situation, but he looks like he's trying to get back in control of these violations of the ceasefire. All right, Lauren, thanks. Check out futures, please. The market's still looking favorably on the ceasefire deal and its continuation. Dow up to 80, Nasdaq up to 11. Tom Hayes with me this morning. I want to start with the oil price. Down again this morning. The last time we checked, it was $66 a barrel. I would suggest that that's a help to inflation down the road. Is it?
There's no question about it. This is the major component to inflation. And the Saudis are going to continue to pump. They don't want sanctions. They want to be helpful. The Russians are going to continue to pump. They need income. Oil is going to stay down. It's so funny. Everyone was all up in arms about the Straits of Hormuz. It's never been shut down. In all of these different battles, the Gulf War, et cetera, it's never been shut down. Oil's going to stay low. Inflation's going to stay low. Powell is going to have to move because the natives are getting restless.
You think he's got to lower rates?
Look.
Why must he lower rates?
Okay, Waller's come out. Goolsby's come out. Bowman's come out. Everyone's come out saying, listen, this is a temporary tax, if anything. It's even in their summary of economic projections that it's going to be temporary. And by the same token, their projections, 1.4% real GDP. If GDP is going to be that low, he should have done 50 basis points in June. He's got to go. He's going to try to push it off to September, and that'll probably be okay. But now you got more and more people coming out. Maybe we get a surprise in July.
How low could the price of oil go? I was going to ask you that, but I really need to know.
Well,
can you get back into the 50s? And will American drillers drill and pump if it's in the $50 barrel range?
At 50, it's a little tougher for them to pump aggressively with rates at this rate. If rates start to come down, we could see some pumping in the 50s for sure, and that would keep oil low for a long time. But Powell's got to move.
All right, let's talk stocks for just one moment.
Yeah.
If we get the big, beautiful tax break, okay, if we get that, if we get a rate cut by the Federal Reserve, if we get the ceasefire holding in the Mideast, does the market rally significantly?
Listen, we are going to new highs. I told your audience a few weeks ago we're going to new highs this summer, probably before August. I'll tell you what's going on. Institutional sentiment is at near COVID lows still. Can you imagine that with markets near new time highs? Institutional sentiment you saw from Bank of America in the fund manager survey, near great financial crisis lows. The markets climb a wall of worry. These people are going to be forced in. We're going to get new highs in July.
Stay with me for the hour, please. Tom Hayes, thanks very much indeed. We just got a read on home prices. Yes, it's the Case-Shiller report. Got to remind you, these numbers are from April, so they're 2 months old, so to speak. But give me the numbers anyway.
So prices are still rising. They rose by 3.4% in April from last April, but they're up the most in New York. 7.9%. What does this say about Florida? Prices in Tampa fell over 2%. Prices falling. So we are seeing growth overall, but the slowest growth since August, last August. Of course, prices are still high, but 3.4%. When the month prior you were over 4%.
Yeah, that's
They're coming down.
Yeah, coming down. Lauren, thank you. Here's what we have for the rest of the show. The House will likely stick around next week. Republicans want to put the big, beautiful bill on Trump's desk by July the 4th. After his ceasefire success, will the GOP rally around the president and get it through? White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett on that. He's coming up. Israel's former national security minister scolded Senator Schumer for criticizing the strike on Iran, claiming it's always about politics for Schumer. The chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Brian Mast, on that. Brian Mast is next. "14 minutes to go before we open that market, and the Dow's up close to 300. The Nasdaq's up over 200 points. Let's get back to the latest in the Mideast. President Trump has said the ceasefire is in effect, despite what may have been violations earlier. Mike Tobin joining us now from Beersheba. Israel now says they will not retaliate. Do I have that right? The ceasefire is in effect, Mike?
Well, Israel did respond to the two missiles that came into the north of the country about 4 hours, a little shy of 4 hours after the ceasefire went into effect. And they responded by striking a radar array, as they put it, inside of Iran. An array, I should say, is a series of radar antenna that all work with each other. Now, prior to that, just as the ceasefire was about to go into effect, waves and waves of missiles came at Israel. One of them got through the defenses and hit this apartment building behind me here. You can see the tremendous power in the warhead where it made a direct impact. There was a family of 4 that was sheltering in the bomb room inside of this apartment building, but it took a direct hit. A spokesman for the Homefront Command says those bomb rooms are good at protecting people when they're in the blast radius, but they can't really withstand a direct hit like that.
From what we understand currently, that the family was inside the shelter, and unfortunately, when we have a direct hit, a direct strike of a missile in the shelter, it did not always help.
Now, Israeli warplanes were in the sky over Tehran when those missiles were fired at Israel. They were able to detect at least some of the launchers and fire at those. But in the end, you have 4 people who were killed here in Beersheba, Israel, in the south of Israel. You had 26 people injured. You had a violation of the ceasefire with 2 missiles going into the north of Israel that threatened the ceasefire. A very angry President Trump had a conversation with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and at this point, the Israelis say they are no longer firing at targets inside of Iran. Stuart?
All right, Mike Tobin, I got it. Thanks very much. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Congressman Brian Mast with me now. It seems Trump has now regained control of the ceasefire situation. Congressman, doesn't it look like he's running the whole world?
Yeah, sometimes, being down in the Palm Beach area, you feel like that's the capital of the world with all the people that come in and visit him when he's down there. But he's making big decisions, and he's making this demonstration, I think, very clear. Teddy Roosevelt used to say, speak quietly, but carry a big stick. He's making it clear the stick that America carries and that we're willing to swing it.
I wanted to talk to you about our own military for a moment. I mean, you're a military guy. What a performance. I mean, it's a spectacular performance. But the media tries to downplay it. What's going on here?
Some of these people are just insane, right? And I would say Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, leaders here in Congress on the Democrat side, you basically have to be like a Columbian grad student to think that it's not wise to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. They've demonstrated that they will kill Americans, right? They knocked 2 F-16s off of aircraft carriers over the past couple of months. They killed 3 Americans last January at a place called Tower 22 in Jordan. They will attack us. They will kill us. And if you let them have a nuclear weapon, they will use that against us and our allies. So let's use common sense, have a limited operation in coalition with Israel, let them do a lot of the heavy lifting, bring in the forces where only we can bring in the force, and then get out of there. And that's what the president has been doing. He's been very limited on this, and he had absolutely every authority to do this under war powers.
Congressman, Israel's former national security minister, that is Gilad Erdan, is going after Senator Chuck Schumer. He says that Schumer criticizing Trump for violating congressional procedure is just purely political and sad. Congressman, why doesn't Schumer give Trump credit for the ceasefire, which is a major achievement?
Because they fundamentally hate President Trump. They want President Trump to lose more than they might even want America to win on something. That is more important to those individuals, that President Trump lose than America be successful at things, even to the point of protecting Americans. This was absolutely a protection of Americans. Again, I pointed out where our vessels have been attacked out there in the Straits of Hormuz and the Red Sea, where Americans have literally been killed. That was a Sergeant Rivers, a Specialist Moffett, a Specialist Sanders specifically killed. Those are 3 Americans that came home under flag draped coffins. And this is serious. That's the cost of allowing Iran to go unchecked. He is taking care of this for America so that whenever Iran does respond with something, it's not measured in kilotons and megatons. And, you know, some have said he should be put forward for the Nobel Peace Prize. I would agree with that.
Congressman, you are a Republican. And there are some Republicans who say we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be getting involved in a forever war. What do you say to that?
Not a forever war. Again, President has been very clear about how limited this is. Again, to the point of what his authority is. Let's talk about something called war powers. There are 3 criteria for what can take place. 1, was there an authorized use of military force by Congress? No. Was there a declaration of war by Congress? No. The 3rd parameter is, was there an emergency or an attack on Americans? And I just made the case for what that emergency is. Iranian nuclear weapon, them enriching past 60% in 3 separate facilities. That is the emergency. They already have a highly developed ballistic missile program that can deliver whatever warheads it is that they choose to develop. So yes, that was an emergency. And yes, they've demonstrated they will kill Americans if they have the chance.
Regime change. I've got 30 seconds. Regime change in Iran. What do you say?
Certainly preference. If it's not your preference to have a regime that wants a free and democratic Iran instead of this Islamic State Iran that exists, you have to be insane to not want regime change. That does not mean that it is the policy of the United States of America to conduct that. I do not believe it is our policy. It would certainly be a preference to have a different partner.
Yeah, we need a homegrown revolution, I think. Congressman Brian Mast, thanks very much for joining us, sir. Always appreciate it. See you again soon.
Thank you.
One MSNBC host is coming to Trump's defense. This is MSNBC. Coming to Trump's defense after the strikes on Iran. Okay, Lauren, who is it?
Okay.
What did this person say, and have they still got a job?
Chuck Scarborough still has a job, and some of the panelists agreed after he said every recent president would have done the same thing as Trump's call on Iran. Watch this.
Said on Thursday or Friday, the president had no good options. What would Monday look like if he hadn't have moved, if Iran wasn't already at 60%, and an ability to create nuclear weapons in a short matter of time, right? I find it hard to believe that Bush 41, Bush 43, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, go down the list. Any presidents wouldn't have felt compelled to take that strike.
And then David Ignatius, who was on the right of Scarborough right there, he's a columnist at the Washington Post. He agreed. He said diplomacy was not working. Action was necessary.
There are some voices in the media which acknowledge Trump was right. Some.
Didn't expect that one.
Don't forget Brett Stevens in the New York Times.
Yes, yesterday.
My favorite columnist. All right, thanks, Lauren. Check futures again, please. The Dow is now up. This is pre-market, but we're up 320 points right there. That's 0.75%. The opening bell. Here's next.
Paying away.
President Trump on Air Force One is on his way to the NATO summit, but he had time to post this on Truth Social. China can now continue to purchase oil from Iran. Hopefully, they will be purchasing plenty from the U.S. also. It was my great honor to make this happen. All right, here's the price of oil. We're down again. Now we're down to $65 a barrel. I think it's about 38, 40 hours ago, it was 77. That's a huge drop. You're down 4% today. Check futures. I think we've still got plenty of green on your screen. Dow's up 330, NASDAQ up 220. Gary Kaltbaum with us this morning. Gary, why do you say it's a near certainty that the Fed cuts rates next month? Why are you so confident?
I follow the Fed forever, and nothing comes out of their mouths by accident. You now have 3 people from the Fed that said they are good with a rate cut actually in July, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get one then and not have to wait for September. And I think part of the last couple of days in the markets may be that. Just keep in mind, if they drop a quarter point, will not affect the economy much, but it certainly helps the markets. Markets always love easier money unless we're in some sort of big recession, and leave no doubt we're not in any big recession at this juncture.
If oil prices stay down or maybe come down some more and yields on treasuries keep inching lower and we get a big beautiful bill with tax cuts, are we off to the races in the second half of this year?
Well, I think it's a lock that we're going to break to the highs, and I think after this open this morning, we're only about 1% away. And the most important part of the equation is the right areas are leading the way now. JP Morgan's going to open up at a new yearly high, new all-time high. And the semiconductors, which I follow very closely, that were dead in the water until the lows in April, have been coming on strong. That's a big 1-2 punch. And now we're starting to see some of the lagging areas, like home builders look like they may be bottoming, transports are acting better, and a stunning drop in oil prices, really a big tailwind for the market if that continues. I mean, I think it's down 13% in a day. Yeah. That's almost unprecedented. It's very good to see, and that's a big time help to the consumer.
Yeah, because it'll cool inflation a little in the future, I would think. Oil at $65 a barrel, right?
Oh, big time. And that also gives the Fed a chance to lower rates quicker. Lower inflation is a great thing. We saw a big move in inflation to the upside. To the downside, we'll take it. And the market's reacting to it right now.
It sure is. The market has just opened. Gary Kaltbaum, thanks very much indeed. The market is now open. Press that button and away we go. We're looking for a lot of green on the Dow. And we got it. The Dow is now up just the first few seconds of business. You're up 270, 250, 260. 42.8 is your level on the Dow. There are the 30 Dow stocks, most of them in the green. I do see 7, no, less than that. You now got 5 in the red. The rest are in the green. Show me the S&P 500. That is a broader indicator, obviously, up 38 points, 2/3 of 1%. The NASDAQ Composite, now that's up almost 1%, 179.198. That's what you've got on the NASDAQ. And let's have a look at the big tech, up almost across the board. Only yet now Apple just inched higher. Amazon, Nvidia, Alphabet, Microsoft, Apple, all up. Let's have a look at the energy companies. With oil down so much, we're $65 a barrel for oil. All of the energy stocks are down, and you're going to cover them for us, Taylor.
I mean, when was the last time that 72 hours ago we took out an adversary's nuclear arsenal in the Middle East and oil falls $12 a barrel? This is crazy world. But look, so the oil companies were up a little bit yesterday because, look, they can all make money at 50, 55 for break even. So when oil's at 80, great. Now that oil is back to $65 a barrel, a little bit less profitable for them to pump. So again, they fall along with the price of oil.
Tom, you made the point that they've never closed the Strait of Hormuz, and they're not going to do it now.
No, absolutely not.
And you could get oil below $60 a barrel?
I think you could. If rates come down, it becomes more and more profitable for them to pump at lower levels. But until, Chair Powell has been a little bit belligerent. The natives are saying, let's cut in July, and he says, no.
All right, let's have a look at the defense stocks, too. I believe they're mostly down, but Taylor, that's because of the ceasefire.
Yes, exactly. So we talked yesterday about traditional defense that was up as we were waiting for the escalation, and then traditional defense that is down as we've sort of gotten the de-escalation. Also, don't forget cybersecurity defense as well as another role in this, not as long with traditional defense as people were waiting for maybe a hack that could come to the grid. Again, that hasn't come yet.
Bitcoin's back to $105,000 a coin.
We're
Why?
close to a record, right? Like 110, 112 is a record. Look, this is a classic risk on, right? This is a market trying to figure out, do we like gold? Do we like dollar? Do we like Bitcoin? How does Bitcoin fit in a portfolio if it's risk on? So again, just another sort of classic risk on play today with the market.
Following stocks to some degree too.
Yes.
Dow's up 300. Fiserv, now they're a fintech, financial technology company. What do they do? Oh, they're partnering with MasterCard.
Yes.
That's important. What do
To
you got?
adopt stablecoin. FIUSD is the Fiserv's token, and they want to have it all across MasterCard products. So they want to allow customers to smoothly transition from fiat currencies to this stablecoin. They want merchants to also get paid if they wish in this stablecoin instead of a dollar or fiat. Basically saying that they want stablecoins to be ubiquitous across continents and across currencies, so that they think the stablecoin, again, is this new currency, if you will.
Tom, I thought the stablecoin was bad for MasterCard and Visa.
It's an
Apparently not.
uncertain period. Here's how I would hedge it, Stu. I gave your audience a stock called PayPal in the high 50s. It's now in the low 70s. They are the 6th largest issuer of stablecoins. So if you like the fee business, PayPal's got 450 million users. If you like the stablecoin business, they're the 6th largest issuer. That's the way to kind of hedge your risk until we get more clarity on how this is going to play out for Visa and MasterCard. I would not be a buyer of Visa or MasterCard here.
I think I got the point.
I love it.
Then we got Uber and Waymo. They've launched their robo-taxi service in Atlanta. Okay, what do we know about that?
Stu, I keep giving you these little nuggets, these good stories, and you keep refusing to ride in an autonomous vehicle.
I don't go anywhere where they've got them. We don't have them in New York.
Well, they're coming eventually. But yes, the news today is that they're going to be opening up in Atlanta. So starting today, you open up your Uber app. You can either get an Uber X or an Uber Comfort, and you may get paired up with a fully autonomous Waymo, and they drive those Jaguar Pacer cars. But you can opt out. If you end up not wanting that, you can cancel it and switch to a non-fully autonomous ride as well. But basically all around downtown Atlanta.
Okay. I got the message on this one. Tom,
One of these days.
Why are robo-taxis such a lifesaver for Tesla and the rest of them?
It's a big deal, but let me tell you something. You can't make this stuff up. Elon Musk puts a couple cars on the road in Austin with drivers in the autonomous cars. He gets tens of billions of dollars of equity cap value. Waymo's been going for years. Google gets zero value for Waymo. It's already working. Everyone's driving around with no drivers. It's great. Zero value attributed to Waymo and Google stock.
All right, I'll move on.
Yeah.
Microsoft. Microsoft just hit an all-time high. And we've got some more drama between Microsoft and OpenAI. What is it now?
There was a great story that, enterprise customers are having a harder time deciding to switch on over to the Microsoft Copilot AI. One executive said that ChatGPT is so fun that the Copilot is sort of losing out in ground to ChatGPT from enterprise customers. One executive said ChatGPT is fun. The Copilot from Microsoft is useful, but really only within the other suite of Microsoft products. So again, this is ChatGPT going up against the biggie, your Microsoft, and I did
Your
that
Microsoft,
for you.
as if I owned it.
I know you like it.
Tom probably doesn't know this, but I've owned Microsoft throughout the 17 years that this show's been on the air. Wow. And I owned it before I even joined Fox, and that's a long time ago.
That's impressive.
Yes,
Talk about compounding. This business has compounded their capital at double digits for decades now.
Get a winner and stay with it.
I love it.
As long as it stays winning, of course. Yeah. Amazon, I'm interested in this, even though I don't do delivery. They've expanded their same-day delivery service. Where now?
Yeah, so they're going to be investing about $4 billion to triple their delivery network by 2026. They're expanding same-day and next-day delivery to now more than 4,000 smaller cities. You don't just have to be in a big city. You can be in a smaller city and still get this service. And they don't have an exact amount of new facilities, but they said with each new facility that they bring, it will create on average about 170 new jobs.
Got it. Thanks very much. We'll see you on the Big Money Show, 12 noon. Tom, you got a couple of stock picks. You're starting with Advanced Auto Parts. That's not, I'm used to these huge gains that you get in technology companies. That's not very sexy. Advanced Auto Parts?
Okay, here's what I love to do, Stu. I'm known on Wall Street as Turnaround Tom. I like to buy high-quality companies when they're marked down. These two stocks I'm going to talk about are marked down 2/3, okay? They're great businesses. Shane O'Kelly's coming into Advanced Auto Parts. Average car on the road is 13.5 years. They've mismanaged it. He's deleveraged the balance sheet, closed down 500 unprofitable stores.
Is it double?
This is going to, advanced auto parts could triple over the next 3 to 5 years. Their margins have bottomed out at 2.5%. They're going to 7%. Last time they were high single digits. The stock traded at $150.
Okay. Show me Estee Lauder. I've got limited time here.
Okay.
You like it. Where's it going? It's 79. Where's it going?
It's going to 100 plus in the short term, talk about a year or less, and then beyond that, this thing could be a double from here.
Turn around, Tom. You got it. Thanks very much indeed. Coming up, President Trump has always pushed for America first. Watch.
My foreign policy will always put the interests of the American people and American security above all else. Has to be first. Has to be.
Hasn't changed. That was back in 2016. Now, fast forward to the present, Democrats saying he's going to cause World War III. Looks like he's rewritten the Middle East playbook, though. Brian Kilmeade on that later. Attorney General Pam Bondi sounding the alarm about the number of Iranian nationals who've entered our country under Biden.
It's well over 1,000 have entered our country, and I can tell you we are on high alert, and everyone is looking at that very closely.
So are we, but got to look at oil too. Down again this morning, $65 a barrel. Doesn't that help inflation? White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett on that. He's next. Oil prices dropping as Trump says Israel will retaliate against Iran. Okay? Show me that again. They said that they're going to retaliate, dropping as Trump says Israel will retaliate. Will not retaliate. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. My apologies, folks. They will not retaliate against Iran. White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett is on the show, and he's with me now. Kevin, if oil is down so much, doesn't that help inflation in the future?
Oh, it absolutely helps inflation, Stu. And what's happened is that markets are celebrating this enormous victory for President Trump, that we've done away with Iran's nuclear program, and then we've turned it into a ceasefire relatively quickly. And markets had a huge risk premium priced into the price of oil, and that's going away, and I would guess it could go away quite a bit more. President Trump came into office on the campaign trail promising lower energy prices, and here we are. This is part of it, but the drill baby drill part is coming as well, and so people can expect to have very good news at the gas pumps this summer.
Will the drillers pump a lot of oil if the price is below $60 a barrel?
I think that that's about the sweet spot where it makes sense. And don't forget that once you get a oil well drilled, then you're going to get oil out of it for many, many years. And so the spot price isn't the only thing that they look at. And the fact is that there's an enormous demand for energy in the U.S. The demand for energy is going up because of all the artificial intelligence data centers that people are building, and also because we're not turning everything into an electric car. And so the combustion engine is cool again. And that's going to really help American automakers and put pressure on oil prices over time because of the increased demand for gasoline.
The last time you were on the show, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about trade deals and how, well, pretty soon we're going to get some trade deals announced. Okay. Mm-hmm. No trade deals have been announced as far as I know, apart from with the Brits. Where are those trade deals?
Yeah, I think that what we're focusing on this week, obviously there's been quite a bit going on, but I had to call on a reconciliation package question with Howard Lutnick yesterday. He picked up right away, and he was in the middle of trade negotiations. We know that we're very, very close to a few countries and are waiting to announce after we get the big, beautiful bill closed. And so I think you're going to see a sequence of trade bills really starting from around the 4th of July. I was the dinner speaker last night at the House for the Main Street Caucus. The speaker was there, and the House members are really, really stoked to get the Senate bill, and they're kind of pre-conferencing so that they think they can vote on it right away. I wouldn't be surprised if this bill passes before the weekend.
Yeah, but what's the problem holding up the trade deals?
Oh, it's not a problem. It's just what are we doing things one at a time. An example, Stu, of like wanting to get all your ducks in a row is one of the nuances in the tax bill is something called 899, which is a thing that punishes foreign countries that have digital sales taxes and the like on us. And we've been having constant negotiations as part of the trade deals for them to take those things off, to stop treating our companies with their quote-unquote Pillar 2. And if they do that, that changes the bill. And so there have been a lot of moving parts, but the parts are moving in a good direction.
Last one. Is there any reason for the Fed not to cut rates now?
The Fed really can cut rates right now. If you look at it, inflation is the lowest it's been by any measure for more than 4 years. And there's absolutely no excuse other than partisanship for the Fed not to cut rates.
And do you expect a rate cut soon?
I think that we're starting to see, we saw 2 governors yesterday come out and say that they expect the next July meeting. I was disappointed that it's only the ones that President Trump appointed that are willing to see that inflation's under control. I mean, you got to be mindful of these people gave us a massive rate cut right before the election to benefit Kamala Harris. They hiked rates right after President Trump was elected. Their partisan record is looking pretty sorry right now, and they got a chance to redeem themselves, and I hope they take it.
Okay. Kevin Hassett, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for being with us, sir.
Good to see you, Stu.
Yes, sir. Tom Hayes with me. I'm putting Boeing on the screen. I think that's the only defense stock that's up, and you're going to tell me why it's up.
Yeah, no question. We gave it to your audience, by the way, a couple months ago at 135 when no one wanted it. It's up at 203. But there were these multi-ton bombs that were dropped and decimated Iran's nuclear ambitions over the weekend. Boeing makes those bunker buster bombs.
They make the GPU-57.
That's absolutely right.
30,000 pounds.
Yeah, and did they work or not? They
worked.
They worked like nobody's business.
And Boeing's back to $200 a share. All right. Thanks very much, Tom.
Thank you.
Coming up, Trump says both Israel and Iran violated the ceasefire agreement, but it should not obscure the significance of the ceasefire. There was an historic moment. To me, it was like November '89 when the Berlin Wall suddenly came down. That's how big it is. That's my take, top of the hour. Primary day for the New York City mayoral race. Socialist candidate Zoran Mandami wants to open government-run supermarkets. If that happens, Gristedes, that's a grocery store chain, their CEO, John Katsomatidis, he says he's going to close up shop. Really? Katsomatidis is next. Now, the polls are open in the New York City mayoral primary. Socialist candidate Zoran Mandami, he proposes to open grocery stores owned and operated by the government. Here with me now is John Katsomatidis. He is the owner of a very well-known grocery chain. It's called Gristedes. And, John, I want to know what you think a government-run grocery store would look like.
Well, it didn't work in Moscow.
True.
And when I growing up, I learned one thing. Don't fight City Hall. So if City Hall is running the grocery stores, let them run it. You know, don't arrest anybody, give it away for free, and let the people eat.
You're not going to close down Gristedes.
Oh, well, I'm not going to fight City Hall.
But you're not going to close it down.
Well, you never know.
That's your, come on, that's your chain.
You never know.
I mean, it's a threat, but you're not going to do it.
Listen, let me say something. The toughest business, we have a lot of companies. We have 7, 8, 10 companies. And if my son is taking over, and guess what? The toughest company we have is retail food. So, do I want my son to suffer?
But you want him to inherit the grocery store chain that
No,
you bought.
let him inherit the oil company who's doing very well. Let him our real estate company is doing very well. And let him inherit our investment company is doing very well. But
okay, look,
I did it. 54 years I did it. My time is up.
Right. Mamdani, he's a socialist.
Yes.
If he wins, what does that do to New York? Because he's going to tax corporations. He's going to free bus rides, for heaven's sake.
It's going to hurt New York. I would say a lot of the capitalists, a lot of the business people say, I don't want to fight City Hall. So, Florida, here I come.
Okay. Now, you're in a variety of businesses, including the oil business.
Yes.
You got it right yesterday. You suggested that the price of oil was going to drop big time. You can't close the Strait of Hormuz, and we got this ceasefire. Okay, we're at $65 a barrel now for oil. Good news as far as the consumer is concerned. How low is it going to go?
I think the variable will be anywhere between 55 and 65, probably 60, 61. I said yesterday that if we work well with the Canadian government, which they want to work with us, I met with the Minister of Energy last week of Ontario, and guess what? We're a powerhouse. North America is a powerhouse. We got more energy than the rest of the world put together. And in putting together more pipelines from Canada, from Alaska, and developing our own resources, Let America win again.
Good for the economy. Good for
Absolutely
the consumer.
great. Good for the economy. I predict, Brady, the end of the year, you're going to have that Dow Jones average closer to 50 because everything is going our way.
Excuse me, 50,000?
Closer to 50. Yes.
50. It's 42 right now.
No, it was 45 a couple months ago.
That was a wild suggestion, John, and you know it.
Yeah, no, not necessarily. I think people will have the thing that's hurting the economy right now. Powell. Interest rates deserve to be lower. He is doing the same thing the federal judges are doing. They're attacking. Some of the Democratic federal judges are having the White House under attack. It has to go to the appeals court, has to go to the Supreme Court to get it reversed. And you can't have the other side of government fighting the President of the United States.
So rates down, no to the socialists, and you're not going to get out of Gristedes. John Katsomatidis, I don't care what you say. You're all right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right. And Tom, thanks for being with us for the hour. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Still ahead.